Moloko, we've chatted about the right attitude to have to get into the space that Maryjane touched on, who we need in transactions, you know, the two ladies right here. But I think the most important thing is this area that a lot of people in the room, whether you are young, you are old, you would be affected. He's a credit repair specialist. Now, for those of you who don't even know what that is, right? Those who are new to this concept, what exactly is a credit repair? What exactly is credit repair, and how does it differ from normal debt counseling?
Okay, no, thanks. My name is Moloko Makgele. I'm a credit repair specialist. I'm a property investor as well, father, husband, and everything, yeah.
Let's clap hands for that.
Yeah. Credit repair is basically what we do. Our approach, I'll start there. Our approach is you give us your credit report. We go through it, we tick the issues that are on your report, and we discuss it with you, and then we give you strategies on how to fix those and increase your score over time. You know, increasing your score and it's not an overnight thing. Please don't be scammed. Someone said, you know, I'll remove your bad payment history. That's not happening. You know, you messed up your score over time. You fix your score over time. You know, it could be a short term or a long-term period, but it's going to be over time. And then a debt review is basically, you know, when someone goes in a debt review, there are processes to go in debt review. The most important one is that you must be over-indebted. You can't go into debt review if you're not over-indebted. You know, over-indebted, it means your expenses and liabilities are actually higher than your income, which most of us in the country are having that issue. So in that case, you approach debt counselor, you say, debt counselor, I can't manage my expenses at the moment. And then in that case, there's a calculation that is being done to verify that. And then, yeah, and then there's an application to court as well. You get an approval and all that. So it's basically totally different things, but they go hand in hand.
Okay, but on that note, what are some of, with some of the cases that you come across, what are some of the everyday mistakes that anyone who's sitting in this room or out there could make without even being aware of the fact that they're making such mistakes that can actually damage their credit score?
You know, the most important tool that we avoid, most of us, is budgeting, guys. You know, you can't spend willy-nilly. Eventually, you'll fall into debt issues. Have proper budget in place that you follow. Without that, you will eventually fall into debt issues. You know, budgeting is quite important, and financial literacy. You know, read books. We have Witness book, More Than Just Money. Read, guys. It actually enlightens you in terms of finances, property, and everything.
Thank you for that. I got distracted by the water. Okay. I want to hand this question over to Sane, because we're speaking about things that people can do to mess up the law or anything like that. Sane, when you're looking at sale agreements or transfer documents, there's a lot of things that you see that people don't do. What are some of the common legal red flags that buyers, sellers normally miss, especially first-time buyers and sellers?
First and foremost, when we get like an offer to purchase, the first thing that we do what is called a deed search. It could be that when Lelo got the instruction to list the property, yes, it was still under Pabi, but you've subsequently sold, but you were trying to defraud or not be honest. Lelo continued with her mandate. Noni continued.
Noni and Lelo.
Noni continued with her mandate. By the time it comes to us, we need to make sure that the person who's claiming to sell the property does indeed own the property. Then secondly, what we see as a common mistake, someone goes and gets married in community of property. Now that they're thriving, or now that the marriage is not going as they would have wanted it to go, suddenly there's confusion about their marital status. So we always have to rectify and say, ma'am, even if you are going through a divorce, until such time that divorce has been finalized at the High Court, it's either you don't have capacity to sell without your partner, alternatively, you don't have capacity to acquire. Of course, we can transfer it into your name, but it still will form part of the joint estate. So rather wait and get your affairs in order. Then secondly, what we also see in terms of timelines, for example, the offer will say this person is gonna pay a deposit within 7 days. Meanwhile, this money is in a fixed money market account that's locked for 90 days. Just as you sign that offer to purchase, try and think so that we don't have to chase you, because then already there's a perception out there that attorneys are not the friendliest of people. We are there to help you, but again, we execute what has been written on the contract. In relation to property, you could be buying in a complex, let's call it the Heights, and it could be that your seller has 5 other different apartments there. How am I supposed to know which unit specifically did you view if it's not completed correctly on the offer to purchase? Some people then use like street addresses on these agreements. They could be more than one Shozi Road in South Africa. So if the bank is trying to approve that bond, which house exactly are they meant to bond? Because if you could have used the F number, then it would have been easier to locate. But what we also see is that with the PPRA having requested that every property that is sold in South Africa, it must be accompanied by that mandatory disclosure form. A lot of buyers don't ask. They just look at a property, they put in an offer. Meanwhile, what they should have done is to insist that the seller discloses the snags. If someone tells you that the roof is leaking and you say, listen, this is my investment, I can make a plan with this, it's fine. If you discover a month after we've passed transfer and now you wanna be aggressive with our office or us, I do not view properties, I work on paper. So try and ensure that as you complete that offer to purchase, you ask the seller. I don't care if they tell you they haven't lived in that property for 2 years. They must either appoint an expert who can try and say, indeed, the roof does not leak. Indeed, there is no plumbing or electrical issues. But if you do not have that disclosure form, it is seen as if you accepted the house as it is. But it's a different story if the seller has not been honest and truthful in completing that disclosure form, because we're now seeing case law in relation to that.
This happens very often, and I know it might sound very scary for people sitting like, this is what actually, this happens often. You deal with cases like these.
We do.
Yeah.
And then what we also try and look for when we get that offer to purchase, we quickly skim down to the agency clause. We wanna see if there's an agent. A lot of people are going around pretending to be agents. An agent needs to have a fidelity fund certificate. Otherwise, you are just dealing with Uncle Temba, who's gonna charge you a ridiculous commission, but they are not doing anything. So the moment we can see there's an agent, we will write to them to say, good afternoon, we see your commission is XYZ. For us to be able to pay you on registration, can we see that you are registered with the regulatory body? But lastly, then we, on that deed search that we conduct, we always look for interdicts. So sometimes you own your property, however, 5 years ago you defaulted, and ABSA was about to auction that property. So there's an interdict, and an interdict just basically says, before this property can be dealt with, we must first engage the bank. Or it could be that it's a family home that's in dispute and one family member has taken the next to court. We need to understand what it is, why it's there, and get permission from the person who would have put it in there. So yeah.
That was a lot to take in, but these are very important steps. These are mistakes that we should avoid making. Thank you so much, Sane, for that. Mr. Mdaka, you've been in the space for a long time. You've been in real estate for as long as I've known you. As a property investor and developer yourself, what are some of the biggest challenges you've faced now moving to AddProp that AddProp aims to solve?
That's a good question. I think because I've been in property, I've been in property since I was 18. So that's why you say I've been in it for a very long time. I started collecting rent cash, knocking door by door, and sometimes the people even dodging me. So I know exactly what it means to remember. Kana, how much did Prapita pay last month? You found instead of giving you 1,000, he gave you 400. Now it's another month. You don't remember, and then he says, "But I gave you all of it." So I think leading up to AddProp, it was formalizing all of that on a system that allows me to track how much exactly the person gave me, even if they gave me 400, instead of writing it in a paper that can get lost. On the system, we can compute. Tenant number 1 gave me 400, the 600 outstanding. When we bill the next month, it will be their rental plus the outstanding amount that we are billing them. So even if I forget to bill for like 3 months, I can go back and bill month by month and end up getting the exact calculation of how much this person owes me for that period of time.
Yes.
So I think, and then also the challenges might be finding the right team when you build your property investment portfolio. So like now on AddProp, you can find an agent or an agency or a realtor. You can find a conveyancer. You can find a town planner to work with you for you to understand whether or not the property that you are buying is going to be fitting whatever you want to do. You can find an architect that's going to help you to draw up the SDP, site development plan, as well as the actual building plans of that specific property development. Then you need an engineer to help you with the engineering drawings before the starting of the actual building, to assess the contractors. We have contractors on the platform as well. So you're able to build what they call a power team, and a lot of the times what people don't understand is that this whole thing of business and property is basically an understanding of the law and how you can play it. It's the law of contracts. Going back and understand. So I once shared, let's say for example, online, that you don't necessarily have to have money to participate in the property industry. So let's say now I was not employed. I'm the CEO of AddProp. But let's say I was not, right? And I see a property on AddProp. Moloko, you've listed it, or Noni has listed it. And I'm like, okay, I don't have any money to buy this property, but I'm going to put an offer on it. The law allows me to put an offer on a property even if I don't afford it. It's up to the agent to say, hey, you're wasting my time, or I'll allow you to sign the contract. So I put an offer there, and I say, subject to raising the money. Very important. Those words are very important. Don't sign, because now you'll be sued to say you signed the contract, and now you are saying you don't have the money. So it must be subject to. You put all the conditions of the subject to. I need to raise the money, and I need to raise it over, you put a period, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I don't have the money. I put the offer, I say subject to. Legally, that property process now belongs to me. Nobody can come and bypass or buy that property if my offer is still in place. So the contract, I'm playing contracts now. That property legally is mine. Now, I can sell that property. Did you know that? That's why you are attending, Akiri, to learn.
That's why you're here today.
Yes. Now, remember, my contract with the seller means the property is being sold to me. I'm awaiting transfer legally, subject to raising the money. Remember. Now, I know Moloko is looking for a property that looks exactly like the one I have. Then I go to him and say, Chief, I'm selling a property. I remember my offer is for 1 million. I don't tell him the offer, whatever. I say, I am mandated because I've got a contract now. I'm selling the property to you for 1.3 million. I sign an offer with him. When she does the registration, she does what they call a back-to-back registration. So a back-to-back registration means on the day of registration, she will transfer the property from the owner to me to Moloko simultaneously. And then on the day, I pay the owner. Okay, she does the payments, but technically I'm paying, right? Because I made the 1.3 million. So she pays the owner 1 million, remember? She pays me my 300,000.
Right.
I made money too. If there's money that belongs to the bank, there's still a bond. She settles that through bank guarantees and all of those things. At that specific moment, you don't necessarily have to have the money, but because you understand the law and how it works, it's not illegal. I'm not telling you something that's illegal. It's very much legal. That's why I'm saying it in front of a conveyancer.
Exactly.
So that as ator unamanga has put.
I actually wanted to give her a moment to say,
Yeah,
is this,
let's give her a moment.
please.
I'm gonna choose my words very wisely. We do see it in practice. There is no prohibition against it. The only times banks are not fond of it is if that property is on auction. But if it's an innocent sale, yeah, why not? Again, don't record me, please, cut.
Thank you for adding onto that. Are you done, Mr. Mdaka?
Oh no, I'm done.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she said, the reason she's saying unless it's on auction, she talked about an interdict earlier on, remember?
Yes.
So the reason a property is on auction is because the seller has gone into debt and they're not able to pay. Now the property has been escalated, there is legal action that has been taken, and the bank has reached a stage where they've got court approval now to sell the property via an auction. Now you cannot do a private sale when the property is now in the process of being auctioned, right? So if that process is not there, you can. Now a lot of people talk about installment sale where you sell me a property, I pay a certain amount of money over a period of time. Now, well, it happens, but a lot of people don't agree to that. But back to back, if I put an offer and you agree to my offer, bruh, I'm selling you, I can sell your house for more. You can't come back and say, but my house was 1 million, you're selling it for 1.3. Mind your business.
Thank you so much. You can actually hand the mic over to Maryjane. Maryjane, how does AddProp integrate with or complement broader trends in smart property technology or prop tech?
It brings a solution. AddProp is an ecosystem, right? So it comes with making sure that you're more efficient, either as a real estate agency, a property practitioner who's decided to sign up on their own, or as an individual just wanting to use the platform. Tools like the rent roll, tools like the analytics that you get on the platform bring efficiency, they streamline your business. The aim is to make you do less admin and more business, right? So if you're using one platform to do the tracking of your sales, the tracking of your rentals, and the advertising of all of your properties, then you don't have to log into platform A and platform C and remember to do platform D. You do everything in one household and you're done. It just brings you seamless property listing.
We love that. We love that. Seeing that, or you want to add on?
In addition, I
Yes.
think what people underestimate is the network effect of systems. You know, so a lot of you are on social media. We've never met face to face before, but we are all sitting here because of social media, right? So when you look at what we've done with AddProp, we took prop tech, something that would be quite far removed from the everyday person, and gave it a network effect where people can actually log in and all thousands of them can be on the platform, right? As we move along, the network effect, when it reaches a specific time, let's say for instance, 10,000 users, we have 10,000 people participating in this thing, listing properties, sharing properties. Some are listing as agents, some are listing as landlords, some are listing as tenants, some are selling something. I'm going to talk about our marketplace that's coming up. In fact, our marketplace is live, whereby if you have a door that you are selling, Moloko is developing his units, you are selling doors, you list the doors on AddProp, he can buy them and he pay you and you have them transported to him. all of that is what we thought about when we looked at the network effect of building something, not for entertainment, but literally for making money. Now, you could be sitting there and like, but I want to sell aluminum. Which platform is going to allow you to sell aluminum safely right now, immediately? Right now, the only platform that can allow you to do that is AddProp, right? You got onto the platform, you list on the marketplace, the secure payments. As soon as he gets his stuff, we will release the payment to you. You understand what I mean? So all of that is what we call a network effect within an ecosystem, because it's only an ecosystem if it touches different touch points. It's not for agents only. It's not for service providers only. It's not for attorneys or banks or accountants or architects only. It's for everybody whom it touches. It's for the entire property ecosystem. So that's what gives it a network effect.
Thank you, Mr. Mdaka. I want to hand over to Noni. I had 2 questions for her, but I'm running out of time. Noni, when it comes to investing, you've been in the game for some time. There's always the element of risk. What are the most common mistakes you see first-time property investors making, and how can they avoid them? Should I come again?
No, I heard you.
Okay.
Okay. I would say that the first time people, the mistakes that they make is not looking into their finances in a real mindset. When I say a real mindset, I mean like some people hide their finances. For example, if you know that you're getting paid 20K, you must disclose the total of the 20K and work on the 20K. You understand? So in other terms, some people don't disclose that they make more. So
Yes.
it's much more better when you disclose that you do not disclose that you make more, because at the end of the day, you're going to get more from the investment. And then again, when we talk about, it would be the finances. But again, when it comes to investment, I would also advise that it's really on a person's knowledge with regards to property, if you choose to own a property to live in or a property that you make money in. So if your goals and admirations are to make money more than having a property to live in, because if you invest in a property that you get rentals and etc., and what witness said, the prop data situation, so you know that that property can actually pay for your own home as well while you're making money. So if you haven't bought property yet, your own property, and still renting, I would advise that you actually invest in a rental property or a rental apartment before actually buying your own home. Once you have your rental property, then consider buying your own home, so that you know that you have salaries on top of salaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just to add on Noni, right? Just to add on Noni, do your research. The most important, do your research, check expected income, how much you're expecting in terms of rental. You don't want to invest in a space where you're going to get less income, where you won't be able to cater for your bond, levies, and other expenses. Do your research, do your research.
Thank you, Moloko. Please don't actually hold on to the mic, because we're speaking, I want to speak finances here. Not everybody's got cash up front to be investing into multiple properties. If you can just share briefly, what creative financing options do you recommend for investors wanting to grow the investment portfolio?
I think the most important one will be make sure that your finances are in order. Make sure that you have a good credit score. Credit score, it doesn't really work on the approval only of the application loan. It works as well as your interest rate. If you have a good credit score, you have a good payment record, chances are very high that you might get even prime, on your application. I think that is quite important. And then again, make sure that the planning as well. The planning as you go into the property investment as well. Make sure that you plan the maintenance of your property, quite important. You know, you have Abu Jimmy owning, few units, but you find that the tenants are actually not happy in terms of the maintenance. And then you have a huge movement of tenants. Every month you have new tenant because of the maintenance. That's quite important. That's what is working for me. You know, I make sure that my tenants are well taken care of. And then in terms of the finance on maintenance, make sure that as you are invested in property, have a provision for maintenance every month. You know, put aside like 1,000, put aside like 1.5 from your income, saying, you know what, this is mainly for maintenance. I'm gonna use this money for maintenance. In that case, you won't fall short whenever there are issues in the maintenance of the property.
Thank you for that. Mr. Mdaka, do you have anything to add on to the question that I asked him about creative methods that, people can embark on or take if they want to invest into or build their property portfolio, because not everybody has cash? He's saying try and save up, make sure that, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
You know what I've realized is that we focus so much on money. And I always say it's more than just money. And the reason I say that is because, remember guys, money is a byproduct. If your deal is good, you've taken time to do the research, like he said, and you starting, let's say, as you're starting, you are deciding to go the rental route, the numbers in terms of what you are putting an offer on are good, you will attract the right financing even if the bank is not financing you. And the right financing sometimes could mean you are putting together a group of people and saying, let's buy this deal. You know, because you're starting, you don't have the cash maybe. You've got a couple of people that know that you're in property, that know that you understand it, that when they look at the deal themselves, they will see that the numbers are making sense. And you're saying, guys, 200K, 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 200K. What are you putting in? But guys, I looked for the deal. Already my equity is in negotiation. Instead of paying 1.2, I've negotiated for 1 million. That's my contribution to the deal. You guys are coming in at 500K. We make up 100% of what this deal is going to be. We all co-own this property, maybe in a company. Not individually, but in a company. Because then in a company, if somebody wants to leave, they just sell their shares and go. Whereas if it's individual, so okay, I'm come away to go property. To get any one of us out is an issue. There has to be transfer after transfer. So it's always best when you are doing deals and you're doing it for the first time and you're doing it with a group of people, you do it in a company. And I'm saying it deliberately because while sitting here, there's someone who's pointing at me. He's been bent before. Mangithi ngiyambona.
I want to add, witness, quite correct. My first property, investment property, we bought it as a group. It was 4 of us. I was the one who came with the idea of going. It was, I think, 8-9 years back, came with the idea, guys, let's bring money together, let's buy this certain property. We'd like to build maybe units. And then goes, I think, a year or so, I'm the one who came with the idea, remember. The other guys, they're dragging their feet. You know, that's where it comes in. The buyer in the company. We opened a company, all of us were directors. And then it happened that I was like, guys, I see that I'm the only one who's keen here. I'm willing to buy you guys out. And then I bought them out. One, it was easier. It didn't involve, I'll see there, because it's a company. All they did it was just to resign from the company. And then I'm only left with I'm the director only on the company. And the property is in the name of the company. So
nice.
It really worked for me, that one.
Yeah.
So big up for that witness. Yeah.
Thank you for that reminder. I wish we could go on and on and on, because I love picking the brains of all these people here. Thank you for the panelists for allowing me to pick your brains. And I'm sure there are itching questions within the audience. I'm now going to open this session up for the Q&A to see if you guys have any questions. If you can kindly raise your hands if you've got a question, and let us know who you would like to direct the question to. And please stand, and let's keep the questions brief, 1 question per person. No need to speak about background, where you're coming from, and all of that. Straight to the question.
Sanbonan, you said 1 question, right?
Yes, please.
So 1 question, 1 request. The first question is, what can we do? What platform can be created? Because right now we were speaking in a perfect world of saying, if we're buying properties in urban areas, anywhere else except for rural areas. For us, rural areas is the best. It works quicker. It's easier to manage. But what can we do for that one? Then the request is, may AddProp please create a platform for us novice property owners, please.
In the rural areas?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay. So, one, AddProp already does allow you to participate wherever you are in the country. So you might be in rural areas, you might be in the suburbs, you might be in the township, you might be a developer with tens of thousands of units. You will be able to list. You know, the other day, I see a property there, Moloko. It's beautiful, man. It's listed for 500. I call the office, I'm like, aye, they're gonna scam people, these ones, 500. And then they remove the property. It gets listed again. And then the director of a company that has got 8,000 units sends me a message, says, witness, my guys are trying to have our social housing properties listed on your platform, but you guys keep taking it down. So that 500 was actually the actual rent, but it was actually a nice 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, beautiful, in Randburg. You know, so we are looking out to say what sort of properties are being put there, but we're very careful. If something looks suspicious, we're gonna remove it, right? And then in addition to what you said, look, there's always going to be a property for somebody. It might not necessarily be a rental property. You are in the rural areas, as an example. There's always weddings, funerals, what. People want to get there and find somewhere they can book to sleep, an Airbnb. Not Airbnb per se, but a B&B or a motel. Who's building these in our rural communities? We need to be the ones that are building them. Some of them, they are not visiting, right? Because of a funeral or a wedding or whatever. They just want to have a good time with their girlfriend that they're stealing themselves with. I'm not promoting it. It's there. Whether I say it or not, they're going to do it. So it's a market. So you as a business person, don't get involved with who jolas with who. Build them the platform and put a bed in there. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying. The married women are saying, I claim. But ideally, guys, this whole thing is about what's the opportunity. What is the opportunity? What do you think happens in hotels? Be honest. Sonke senzi business. Sonke. All of us are traveling for business. All of us. Namanga. Yes, you are traveling for AddProp. Wena. Mara abanye bayenza into zabo. Ene azifuni wena. When are we businesswomen or businessmen? You are renting out rooms. Rent out rooms uvalumlomo masbanyo. Because the biggest thing is, what is the opportunity in the area where you are? You can't look for a Hilton hotel type of property, a Makaya or a Luxury. You look at the behavior of the market. Business and property is about market demand. So you do your market analysis. What do people here like? Some will say they like, you know, those resort kind of units. They just want to have a party and drink. You give them that and give them a place to sleep. because they just want that. You understand what I mean? So I went to a funeral by my grandmother's house, Klepgat, that other side of Pretoria. And afterwards, it was so full. Both houses, they've got 2 houses in the yard, but it was full. And I'm like, ngeke ngiyocompete nabantwana for bed. And they're busy saying, give the bed to Malume. Now 4 kids must sleep on the floor. Because Malume is here. Then I'm like, no, guys, it's fine. I went on bookings.com. I didn't even know in that area I would find somewhere to sleep. But guess what? I found it. And it was just 5 minutes away. And I asked my niece, is that place proper? Yeah, no, Malume, it's proper. In my mind, I'm like, how do you know it? But I didn't ask. I'm saying in my mind, how do you know how the beds look? Nah.
Hey, Malume. Can we have another question? Thank you for that answer, Mr. Mdaka. Who are you handing over the mic to? Please, may you stand as you ask your question.
Sanbonani.
Sawubona.
Yebo, my question is directed to the lady in the center.
Which one? There's two.
Yes. Yeah, she mentioned something about the AddProp is very advanced. You would see if I'm a tenant and my window is broken, kuyangena, then she will, the landlord or the owner of the property will assign someone to go and fix. I'm a maintenance guy, I'm an electrician, so I want to know how to enter into AddProp as a maintenance person so that when you have such issues, you assign me to come, issue your COC, fix plugs, do your plumbing, change your door. Thank you.
I love how your question already tells me your services, hey? Very smart. Yes, you can register to apply to be a vendor. We refer to service providers as vendors on our platform. It is there on our website. It says apply to be a vendor. And you can ask anybody that's wearing an AddProp t-shirt. They will help you also navigate that on your cell phone. And you apply, you fill in your company details, give us all the documents that we require. It will have to be verified first. It takes about a day or two. And once you are verified, anybody that's got a problem that you can cater to within the area of the property, then they can select you. So for instance, we are currently at I think the address here is 29 Mandela Street. So anybody within a 10 to 15 kilometer radius that has a problem and your business registration is here, you get to be on the list of people that can be appointed to assist.
All right, thank you for that. You
So-
want to add on? Yes.
So on the platform, on AddProp, if you go on it on the dashboard, there will be buy or rent a property, add property, which has list and manage your property. And then the third one is service providers join our network. You click on that one, it will prompt you to give all the details that you need to give. And as soon as you've updated everything, you've completed everything, you will now start to operate.
Thank you. We had questions this side. Hey. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. They've given it because it's Women's Day. Yes, my sister.
Sanbonani.
Sawubona.
I just want to start by saying we appreciate you guys, and I see a gold mine mina here. So what I want to say is we attend spaces like this, but I think I'm going to leave here seeing how much some of us don't know what we do not know or don't know which direction to take. So my question is, does AddProp offer mentorship or courses so that some of us here who don't know where to go or how to go about it can actually access? Because like I'm saying, it's a gold mine there, information is there. So for some of us who need to start and have that direction, is there such an opportunity?
Yes, there is. It's more than just money. It does have mentorship programs. You can go there by the bookstall. They'll give you the contact details and you can then communicate with the office and they'll let you know on the different mentorship programs that we have based on your needs as well.
Okay, thank you. We had a question, hands raised here. Which way? Okay, so no, sorry. Apparently, I am not abiding to the rules of the conference. Please, can you give a microphone to someone on this side? That's what you're saying? Thank you. Another lady? Yes, go ahead.
Ngicela imali. I've got few properties like with banking in good areas, busy rezoning, but the money that I need is angeke ngikhone. Ngicela investor.
Please, answer.
Hi, Pella, you can't ask for money and be shy to say how much.
Okay, asiqale ngeyi-1 ke. And irezoning ngibhadalile ngicedile nomasipala.
Okay, my sister, we'll catch you at the end, ne? Think about how much you need, and then we will, the ones who might want to invest into your project will, yeah. Next question.
Hello, guys. My question is also on rezoning, ne? So I'm in the process of rezoning my property, but then I want to know what informs how you rezone the property. Can I just rezone it into maybe a hotel or that? Yeah, that question is directed to Mr. Mdaka.
I wish my dear friend Ketam Timkulu was here, so because he's a town planner. But luckily, I've done a lot of work with him. I mean, it depends what you are rezoning it into. Every property has got every area has got what they call the town planning scheme. And in that town planning scheme, it will tell you how many schools are allowed to be in the area, how many daycare centers, how many hospital, private clinics, all of that. And then depending on where the property is, whether it's close to a hospital, close to a railway line, close to where there's industries, they will allow for you to then rezone it according to a certain number of dwelling units. So they call them dwelling units. And he told us the last time, he says we mustn't call them back rooms, it's dwelling units, It sounds better and proper, right? Yeah. So it'll tell you how many dwelling units are allowed to be in that area. So with normal properties, all properties around here are Res 1. Not all, but the houses. Usually they're Res 1, residential 1. Then there's a residential 2 that allows you to now rezone up to 2 or 3 units within the stand. And then, 2 or 3 units per hectare. Then you'll have what they call Res 3. Usually it's 60 units per hectare. So depending on how many hectares in that stand, then you'll have X amount of units being built. So for instance, if you're saying 60 units per hectare, it means it's only 6 units for 1,000 square meters. But areas differ from area to area. Sometimes if you're closer to the CBD or closer to high traffic nodes where transportation is there, where they allow high-rise buildings, then you are able to rezone for more residential units. And then other forms of rezoning, of course, will be like business or commercial use. And then it will be industrial. So you can't take your house, normal house, and turn it into an industrial unit next door. They won't approve your rezoning. Because when ufuna maslelo, ufuna ukukhatha ama-grinder la. So it doesn't make sense. So the town planning scheme allows for certain things. So, or slele, we're in this specific area, ufuna ukufaka umushwari next door nomuzi wami. They contravene the town planning scheme sometimes. So, exactly. So usually they contravene. But with these things, if you check suburbs that like Belung, it's rare to fugudlule kuno mutuari la. It's only Elokshini where we contravene the planning scheme. You understand what I mean? And the scheme usually tells you what's allowed or not allowed. And when you rezone, your neighbors can approve or disapprove of the rezoning. So they can put in objections. So, both three neighbors, emva kwakho, esayidini lakho, esayidini lakho, bonke banga object, mabathanda. And then you can, when that has happened to me, then we went to tribunal. When we got to the tribunal, you all argue your facts. I remember this one white guy took us to the tribunal. We all argued facts as if we're in court. We were sitting around there. And then afterwards, he's like, you know what, man? Just come for a coke and a brandy and let's bury this thing. Because he realized there was so much work of objection after objection after objection. So you need to be willing to go throughout the process until it's granted. When they advertise it and nobody objects, because they have to advertise that you're going to rezone. If nobody objects, then the rezoning process proceeds normally. Are you answered?
What I would like to add on witness is that, as if you want to buy property, especially for investment, check with town planner first what is permissible around the area. That will actually help you, or else you might buy a property, you want to rezone it into multiple units, you find that that is not allowed. And then it's a futile exercise on your side. So do your research again.
I also just want to add, when you talk about those dwelling units, guys, architects, we see a lot of structures that look nice. The moment you are trying to sell, the bank comes in and the bank says they want approved building plans. And suddenly we see the value of the property that looks good literally just go down. And now we're dealing with an emotional seller. Before you renovate, before you even extend, make sure you involve an architect. It's worth it. It's gonna save you money in the long run, but it's also gonna keep you compliant. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna take, there's a lot of questions, but because of time, I'm gonna take one question. You've got a mic already? Please stand. Please give him a mic.
Sanbonan, my question is easy. To you, Mr. Mdaka, what are the advantages of buying cash, a property cash, versus buying through the bank?
Cash, my own money. I can do whatever. Futangi Koloti, he was telling me about his iPhone earlier. Can you please lend me your iPhone? Area eki rekileng cashes nang skoloto. So obviously buying cash outright. So I used to talk about a concept called ownership versus control. And I think for a lot of Botaki, we must fix this ownership thing, because ultimately nobody owns anything like Mhlabe. You don't even own your soul. You don't have control over it. Don't know when God is going to take you. So what I mean by that is, even if you buy a property, one cash, you bought it 1 million outright, you still don't really fully own and have full control over it. Find mineral rights on it. The government won't allow you to mine them, isn't it? So, and if you stop paying rates, will they not take it and sell it? So nobody ultimately owns anything. That's the part I wanted to challenge. And then secondly, right, there's something called ownership versus control. I don't necessarily have to own a lot of things outright cash, but I want to control a lot of things outright. What do I mean by that? You've got 1 million cash. You buy one property. Let's say, for example, that property is also worth 1 million, right? You've bought it. You own it outright. It goes up in value, let's say 10%. It goes up in value. Now you have 100,000 more on the property, capital gains. Now, let's take Moloko, for instance. He's fixed his credit score. He's buying it through a company, or he's buying it directly through himself. He decides he's going to take his 1 million and buy 5 properties instead. How does he buy 5 properties? Maybe he qualifies for a 5 million rand bond. Instead of buying a nice house in an estate, he buys your kind of properties, but 5. 1, 1, 1, 1. 200,000 rands deposit each. You remember he has $1 million. You have $1 million as well. Both of you are spending $1 million. Yours is own cash. Now, his $1 million is spread across 5 properties. He still has $1 million cash in those properties, by the way. But he controls 5. He just has 200,000 rands equity in each of them. Then let's say in that area as well, remember yours went up in value. His are also going up in value because of the same circumstances surrounding your property. Instead of one property of his going up in value, remember he controls 5, now each of them are going up in value by 100,000 rands, each 10%, like yours. 1.1 million, 1.1 million, 1.1 million, 1.1 million. Now, he's got 500,000 extra on his portfolio. 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. 1 million, same as yours. The difference is how he structured his portfolio. So in terms of, now we talk about refinancing. He can go back to the same bank and refinance all his money. His 1 million plus his 500,000 capital growth on the properties. Now, they won't allow him to take all of it. They'll probably give him 80% of that. Still, he's got about 1.4 million. Then now he pockets in his property. He leaves the other one as part of the equity in the portfolio. He can take that 1.4 and repeat the same process. Remember, now these properties are rented out. Now you can repeat the same process and multiply. So it's called leverage. But that leverage also can burn him. Because debt is like an explosive. You can use it to mine, and it's a good example when eMalahleni by the mines. Explosive. You use it to mine. Poof, in the mine, isn't it? Or you use it to blow up your house. So debt is like that. You can use it to build your financial leverage and scale your portfolio. But if you do too much of it without proper gearing, and then now your costs are higher than what you are receiving on the properties, you get into trouble. But those are the advantages of using other people's money, the bank's money, the investors' money. It gives you leverage and it makes you control more units, more locations instead of one. Now also, you have one tenant, he's got 5, argument's sake. Your one moves out, you're in trouble. Well, you're not in trouble because you bought it cash. But his one moves out, he still has 4 others that are paying him rental. So it's a balanced portfolio. So it's a game of scale, but it's also the importance of balancing your debt. And it works everywhere, even in business. You know, you look at what would make me do this deal better without necessarily taking all of my resources. If I've got 1 million cash in the bank, I'm not giving it to no one house. And I have now I can't buy bread, but I'm a millionaire. The money is in a property. Yeah, so you must check those things.
Sure, thank you so much. Does anyone have anything to add to that question?
I want to write an invoice because, wow, the information you all received for free and mahala like that from everyone. I mean, Hashem, ladies, gents, can put together an invoice, ne? And they pay us, we go eat lunch.
Noni, you wanted to add to the, yes.
But then, sir, there's a brighter side to buying cash. My knowledge, I would say that it does help to buy cash if you're looking to invest. Why I say that it does help, for example, you get a property for, let's say, 700,000 rand, and then you invest the property into making units. Those units will help you. That's why it goes back to managing your finances. Once you've renovated your property, that money, you know that the municipality is going to want their money. You're already handling your own finances, and then the rest, you save it up. While you're saving it up, it's either you buy your next property in the next 5 years to 10 years, depends on how you save your money. Another one. So you keep on having more and more. So sometimes I do say that cash is key, not always bond.
Thank you so much. I think this comes to the end of our session. I would love to take all of those questions, the ones that are remaining, but we've run out of time. Let's give our panelists a big, big, big round of applause.